This is a presentation on the Pediatric Evaluation of Disability Inventory, or PEDI, by Pakize Aroslani and Elena Peters. The PEDI is a clinical assessment that evaluates key functional capabilities and performances of children from ages 6 months to 7.5 years, but it can also be used for evaluation of older children if their functional abilities are below that of an expected 7.5-year-old child who does not have disabilities. So it's really great because it's very functional for a wide range of ages and disabilities. So the assessment measures the functional status across 3 domains for a child, including self-care, mobility, and social function. It's a multi-report test, meaning it gathers information from a wide range of individuals. It consists of a paper and pencil assessment given to the parent or caregiver, a structured interview, and then also observations from the therapist, teacher, or caregiver. This test is great because it takes only between 30 to 60 minutes to administer, which makes it a great quick assessment tool to be used in clinics or in the school system. The PEDI assesses a bunch of different areas of functional skills, independence levels, and then also how many modifications need to be made for a young child to perform a functional activity. So for example, these are the different areas that it covers. It covers activities of daily living, behavior, cognition, communication, eating, functional mobility, infant and child development, language, life participation, occupational performance, reasoning and problem-solving skills, and then also social relationships. So it has a wide variety of different areas that it can assess, and you can either pull those areas and assess them individually, or you can use the entire assessment to look over all these areas for a child who has a disability. So now that you know what kind of areas the PEDI assesses, you might want to know what kind of scores or ratings you get as a result. So it's a scale score that's from 0 to 100, and the closer you get to 100 indicates greater function. The data is then normed to give you developmental age, and it is normative data that you receive from this assessment. And then how you rate the child is the child's graded on criteria of being able to complete the task, so a score of 1, or unable to complete the task with a score of 0. And if there's a task that doesn't apply to an individual, it's still scored as a 1, so it does not count against them. Here's an example of the PEDI score form, and as you can see, there's all the different areas that we discussed that you can score. So next we're going to talk about the development age range that you get from using this assessment. So norms from the PEDI provide reference points to which a child's functional performance is compared and evaluated. It also has tables that list age ranges at which functional skill items are mastered by 10, 25, or up to 90% for specific age groups. And then there's a greater in sign that reflects the greater percentage of children who have achieved that skill that indicates in the respective column. And on the next slide, there's an example of self-care functional skills and other scales of mobility, social function, and caregiver assistance provided in the PEDI. And so here's the example of the age range and percent of children for mastering self-care and functional skills, which can be really handy to help mark progress for a child that you're using this assessment for. So another reason why you might want to use this assessment is for testing a child who has cerebral palsy. The PDI has excellent inter-rater reliability for all domains of the functional performance and caregiver assistance as it relates to this diagnosis, and it also has really good criterion validity for the diagnosis of cerebral palsy, so you just know that's a really solid assessment to use for children that have this diagnosis. Next, we're going to show you a video example of an individual who would receive a score of 0 or unable to perform a task in an area of self-care skill, and this area is brushing teeth. Okay, Pakize, can you brush your teeth for me? Good trying. Next, we're going to show you an example of a score of 1 or able to complete and perform the task in an area of self-care. And this example is for brushing hair. Okay, Pakize, can you brush your hair for me? Wow, good hair brushing. Good job. Very good. So for the first video, the participant would receive a score of 0, unable to complete. And for the second video, the participant would receive a score of 1, able to complete. You would do this for all the different sections and add them up, and then use your chart to give you the norm score and then the developmental age for this assessment. Thanks, and I hope you learned a little bit about the PEDI and will consider to use it for your future assessments.